Jones. So, good evening, everyone. Today I am, where am I? I've forgotten now. That the two steeples in Wigston in Leicester. I've been here before to support the candidate of this area, who's Danuta Jeeves. And now that the election is over, I've come again. We're having a meeting and a debriefing about how everything went and where we go from here. So just quickly, let me introduce you to Danuta, who was the candidate for this area. Hello, Danuta, how are you?
Hello, Anthony. Lovely to see you again.
Lovely to see you too. So you stood for...
Harbour Oadby in Wigston in the south of Leicestershire.
Okay, and when did you decide to stand?
I decided to stand when they got rid of Boris and I left the Conservatives.
That far back?
Yes.
That far back?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the reason that you decided to
That was
stand.
it. Totally disillusioned. The Tory party aren't the Tory party and we need change and Reform the only people that are going to do it.
So how did your campaign go?
Well, given that we had to hit the road running, it went really, really well. We had 6 weeks to get things ready. My team, a lot of my team are here tonight, and it was just amazing. I had so much support. I did come third, which I think is an achievement,
Definitely.
considering the demographic I had. But with hindsight, I definitely want to stand again, and I will be a lot more prepared. I think the country will be voting for us. I'm going to stand to be a county councillor next year, hopefully. So, and the momentum's amazing. So,
Have you looked into standing as a council?
I've already applied.
And which area will you be standing?
Well, apparently you can stand to be anywhere in Leicestershire as a county councillor, but ideally I'd like to be in my own constituency.
Okay, which is?
Which is Blaby.
Okay.
Next door to here.
So what's the plan now going forward from today?
Right, so the plan is we're waiting to hear from the party. Nigel's democratising us and professionalising us, which basically means now we're on the map and we're not the new kids on the block. We're going to be a lot more coordinated. Tonight we're just having a reunion, and it's so nice to see people have turned up. We've got another candidate here, and especially in Leicestershire, we've always been a very close-knit candidacy. We've all been meeting every week, and we're going to hit the road running again.
Absolutely fantastic. The best of luck.
And you.
And obviously we'll be in touch, because obviously I'm just in Northampton.
Yeah.
And I'll be about backwards and forwards to support all of you.
And I'll be supporting you.
Vice versa. And
Lovely.
who's next?
Okay, so we've got Ian next.
Ian. Now here I'm going to be joined by another candidate who stood in Leicestershire. And this is Ian
Hayes.
Ian Hayes. And when did you decide to stand?
Well, I was an
If you stand here,
Yep.
the camera can
Yeah.
see your face.
I was an ex-Conservative, and I got so disillusioned with them, I just thought, you know what, I've got to look for a new party. And Reform UK was the party for me. And I decided to stand for Leicester West.
Leicester West. When was it that you stood?
I stood for the 4th of July election, and after the election I attained 5,666 votes.
Okay, all right, fantastic. So looking back, what would you have done differently?
Me, I would have sorted out the health service. I would have looked into getting more police on the streets, because we can hardly see them. Getting people back into work. Sorting out the social care aspect, because there are lots of carers that are struggling against the system, and the system just aren't listening to them.
So going forward now, what are your plans?
My plans now, after the election and being a former candidate, I'm looking at going into putting my name forward for the county council for Leicester and take things from there.
Okay, excellent. So how do you feel about the Reform community in the Leicestershire area now? How's it coming together?
It's slowly but surely coming together. We're getting organised. We're getting our teams together. So we sort of like got North and probably South Leicestershire groups. And we're building up on our supporter base and our helper base.
Excellent. So effectively you're going to get going straight away
Yes.
with your plans for standing as a council. You're not going to leave it to the last minute this
No,
time.
no, I'm not going to leave it to the last minute because obviously, with Rishi Sunak leaving it to the last minute, we literally had to hit the ground running, all of us. So it didn't leave us a lot of time to get our leaflets sorted out or to get our teams together. But in hindsight, I think we all did very well in coming third.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You did very, very well. And again, obviously, I shall be seeing you as we go forward with our campaign and supporting you, doing everything I can. And I look forward to seeing how things go over the next year.
Oh, brilliant. I look forward to that.
Pleasure.
Thank you for
pleasure.
interviewing me.
And you're welcome. You're welcome. And now I'm going to interview Suresh, if he has time. This is a very smart cookie. You will know immediately that this is a smart cookie.
Not really.
This is my friend Suresh.
You are overestimating.
We are very, very good friends. And Suresh is supporter, activist, international consultant, and just general smart man behind the people, aren't you?
Thank you. I think you've overrated me. But thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So, what attracted you to reform, apart from me, of course?
To be honest, I found every policy of reform highly attractive to most of the Indians and the Hindus, and also the Sikhs, right? They go hand in glove with our way of life, our lifestyle, etc. Right? For example, the tuition fees. A lot of our children goes to private tuition. Labour wants to introduce VAT on private tuition. Reform is saying that not only will they not introduce VAT, but they will give us 20% discount because we are releasing spaces
Yes.
in the state schools.
Yes, of
that is
course.
and that is thousands of pounds.
It's huge. The
for
difference
a
can
family.
be between Labour with the forthcoming VAT and Reform, were they in charge, could be as much as 6,000 or 7,000 per year
Yeah.
per child.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Secondly, Anthony, you being an estate agent, you know the stamp duty. Reform is hoping to reduce the stamp duty extensively or even get rid of it.
Yeah, well, they were going to raise the threshold and then cap the higher end. At the moment, this goes back to George Osborne in the 2014 when they reformed the stamp duty, and the highest rate is 12%, plus 3% if it's not your primary residence, plus 2% if you are an overseas buyer.
Wow.
Now, in my opinion, I'm against overseas investors just stockpiling property and leaving it empty, not when we need property. But I am all for overseas investors being directed to invest their money into the generation of property. We've got capacity for between 1.2 million and 2 million homes on brownfield sites without even losing a single field. Plus, we've got 670,000 empty homes in England. There are enough homes provided that we stop so many numbers coming here. This
And
is the
you
problem.
see, the government at the moment is very anti-landlord, unfriendly for landlords to
Yes.
rent out.
Yes.
So, and a lot of Indians and a lot of Asians have properties which are lying vacant.
Yes.
So that is another reason I got interested. Thirdly, the inheritance tax. Most of the Indians and the Hindus and the Sikhs and the Asians have properties worth 5 to 600,000 pounds. Most of them. They have a second property, third property. And why hasn't the Conservative government, although having a Hindu prime minister or an Indian prime minister, has increased their threshold to a couple of million? So reform is saying that they will be increasing the threshold to 2 million before we start getting taxed on the inheritance tax.
Yes.
So many such policies. Obviously, immigration. You see, reform is not against immigration. People are sending out wrong messages. It's against illegal immigration. The legal immigration, they want to try and keep it to net zero, which is basically the number of people going out and the number of coming in is equal to more or less zero. It can never be perfect.
Of course.
But they want educated people who can invest, generate jobs, or are good for the country. So stuff like that. 99% of the reform policies fit hand in glove with the Asians and the Indian way of life and the lifestyle. That is how I got extremely attracted to the contract and the party.
Sure, you don't want to
And
be a
they're
candidate?
no, thank you. I'm retired. I just want to chill and
You don't
enjoy
look old
my.
enough to have retired.
Thank you. It's just because I looked after my hair in the younger days.
Absolute
But yeah,
pleasure.
it's and one more point, Anthony. I was always told, and I always assumed, and a lot of my relatives and friends even now tell me that reform has a lot of thugs and idiots and people who doesn't like colored people. That is absolutely nonsense. They are very welcoming, very warm, lots of very professional people. I've been in it for quite a while now, and I've been to so many meetings, so many events, never been abused, always welcomed, always highly respected.
Yes, unfortunately, it's the nature of politics that some members of the media will just blatantly lie. We've seen it through the campaign and we've had to deal with it. We've all even suffered because of their lies here or there. That's just part of it. But we won't be intimidated, we won't be bullied, and we're not going to be pushed around by a media that is clearly biased and self-serving.
Yeah.
Obviously, from the point of view of the BBC, they are going to be biased because one of our policies is to defund them, which obviously they're not very happy about. But I think that's the fairest thing ever, because why should they be able to extort money from people who don't want to watch BBC or don't agree with the way that they conduct themselves?
Yeah.
So that's just one example.
Finally, Anthony, a lot of Asians especially, vote emotionally, and even the conservative voters vote emotionally. The point is, what have we gained in the last 14 years? We have to look at that, right? And therefore, for example, a lot of Indians vote for conservative because Rishi Sunak was a prime minister, being a Hindu. But you have to look at their policies, and you have to look at what they've done for us, and you have to look why they have crashed, and you have to look at what their future is. So I think Indians, Asians, and the conservative voters, even non-Asians, have to study the policies of conservatives and analyze what the result was. Basically, crashed big time, and shift on to reform, because reform is probably taking over the the exact conservative values that was originally,
Or what they were.
yeah, or what
Or
they
what
were.
they were. They're not that case now. And as you know, the 110 MPs who are left, the vast majority of them are indistinguishable from Labour, really.
Yeah.
To be honest, they are no longer Conservatives. They don't represent Curver's Conservative voters.
Exactly. Anyway, thank you for giving
My
me a
pleasure,
chance,
my
and
pleasure.
It was lovely talking.
I'll
to
be
you.
able to have a drink with you in a moment.
Hopefully.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, that was all. So that was our two candidates, and one of the most popular candidates, my friend Suresh. There are a few other people here. They're a bit shy, but I'll see if I can twist their arm, and if I do, I'll be back with them. Otherwise, failing that, I shall see you again soon. Bye bye for now.